Hey, hello everyone. I'm David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. Coming up on this show, there's a new place to stay in downtown Las Vegas as the Downtowner opens its doors. And plans to transform Cashman Field could bring Major League Soccer to our city. With me now to discuss these topics and much more is the councilman who represents Ward 3. You know who it is. It's Mr. Bob Coffin. And Councilman, this is sort of a bittersweet show. This is your last Access City Council show as a city councilman after 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
I really have enjoyed this little kind of a sit down and chat with the voters, because the people out there, they don't know how government works. And so if they just watch this every now and then, or for every member of the council, they're going to learn how other parts of the city work.
Yeah, and what's going on, that's the whole idea, is to let you know what's happening in your neighborhoods, major projects, small projects, and hopefully connect you more with the city, the government that you've elected. So Councilman, 8 years in office, you decided not to seek re-election, so you'll be leaving office. Your last council meeting is June 19th, and your successor will be sworn in, whoever that's going to be. We don't know who that is at the taping of this show, but whoever that is will be sworn in the first meeting in July, which will be July 3rd.
Well, I'm really thinking about what I'm going to do between the 19th and the 3rd of July, or the 2nd of July, probably at midnight. My term expires, but for practical purposes, you know, I'm like a real lame duck, and so it's not important. So I expect most of this time will be spent packing.
Yeah. Well, lame duck or otherwise, you've done a lot, and you're still doing a lot as your term comes to an end here. I love this. The Downtowner Motel, which was really kind of an eyesore for many, many years, has seen a wonderful resurgence, like so many things in the downtown. We want to show everybody, we had a ribbon cutting there on May 30th. This is at 8th and Ogden. The new improved Downtowner. This place is really nice. They improved what counts about 80 or so rooms there. And man, this is going to be a nice place to stay in the downtown. A little boutique hotel right in the heart of the downtown.
Well, David, more housing is good. This, of course, is for tourists, but it means that more tourist money will come to East Fremont. And so it radiates from there. These investments that people make based upon the fact that it might be profitable for them in the future. Although in Tony Hsieh's case, I think he invests based upon a maybe profit. He's pretty philanthropic when it comes to doing these kinds of things. Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice little room. I have no idea what they're going to charge per night.
I mean, it's very nice. It's been renovated completely. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's got a nice bar area there and a putting green. It kind of looks reminiscent of, like you were saying, of miniature golf. But,
that is really startling. It's there, and it's kind of part of the play features, or relaxing features, and then there comes the golf ball right out of nowhere. So I think it's good. I hope it holds up, because that's going to get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great to see this happen. You know, there was a time when we really feared we would just have high rises, you know, right up against the sidewalk, downtown and everywhere. And now that things slowed down, a person who might have invested in another kind of structure, like this particularly, it had to sit there for a while till they figured out what to do.
Yeah.
And then when they decide, like Tony Hsieh does, that's it.
Yeah, off we go.
It's done.
Well, it's sure a nice improvement, and like we were saying, so many things in the downtown have seen this renaissance, this new life again, and what a nice addition to our downtown area.
Yeah, it just never stops. It doesn't make headlines, but it's there.
Exactly. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. And Councilman, I love this too. We posted this on Facebook. We said, tune in to our city council meeting on June 5th for a presentation about the potential for a Major League Soccer team at Cashman Field. And this is a big deal because the City Council voted unanimously to enter into an exclusive negotiating agreement with a company called the Renaissance Company, speaking of Renaissance, to look at tearing down Cashman, building a new stadium for Major League Soccer.
Well, it's important to try it again. Folks who have never really understood what happened before is that we did have this experience in a different fashion, putting a MLS team, trying to get one in there, you know, and Symphony Park. We had all kinds of problems that really hurt our council. So now we go this way, and it's a property that we know we need to do something with. It doesn't seem to be destined to have Major League Baseball, and there is so much land near the Strip, they'll go for that. So why not try for a single purpose, obviously for youth outside season, a single purpose field, but also other tremendous things happening. You can see
yeah.
entertainment,
Concerts,
retail,
yeah. Right,
and
right.
housing.
It's kind of an entertainment residential soccer complex.
I'm not
is
sure if
what
that's
they're-
on the 62 acres. That is what we think of as Cashman, and the other maybe 15 or 20 that might be available
Right,
immediately
around-
adjacent, which makes
right.
it so much bigger. You know.
We really that would be such an amazing addition because you've got the Neon Museum there, all part of that cultural corridor. You'd have Cashman Field, that whole area from 95, US 95 north along Las Vegas Boulevard would just be an incredible attraction there.
Sure,
So.
sure, it would be seen for miles, and I think that the neighbors, the stadium's been there before the neighbors, and so they'll get along fine. And you know, I hope people understand this is not just for some sort of world citizen as opposed to the old Anglo-Saxon American, because we ran into racial prejudice the first time we tried for a soccer team, and so we've been going on for 2 years now with Brett Lashbrook's team, and it seems like the lights are popular, and it should remind people that this is an all-racial sport. There was an awful lot of race baiting going on 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. Interesting, Brett Lashbrook, we saw him in the video, the owner of the lights. He's agreed as part of this whole arrangement, if we were to get the deal on and a team comes here, he would sell the lights, and we would have a shot at getting a major league soccer team here. So.
Yeah, and of course the council I will not be serving on, but in 6 months they'll be able to look at it. This did not make a commitment to purchase, to develop,
Good
to
point.
sell. It's little like other things that are just preludes. So this was just to give one company, which had the idea, 6 months exclusive
deal. Yeah,
look
yeah.
at how it would cost, and we have to cooperate with them in that process and to see what could happen. But we're not committed. The city's not committed to
Right.
building, number one, a soccer stadium, and number two, with this investment group.
Exactly right. The idea is to talk about it, see if we can work out a deal. And like you said, Councilman, the $64 question is how's it going to be paid for? That's going to be what everybody's going to be asking.
Well, it could be extremely profitable for partners. I think that would be one way to put it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Councilman, we also tweeted this out. We said we will receive $45 million in federally funded new market tax credits to invest in low-income and underserved communities. This is a game changer because what it does is it encourages investment in our downtown areas, these underserved areas.
Well, and east of Eastern, things like this, that's mostly residential, not business, but you get the idea. These things are used either for, high rises of mixed use, mostly residential, or things that are closer to a business community as opposed to a little further away. So it's Greek to a lot of people, but they should know if they drive downtown and see the old federal post office, then they would see that's on not Ogden, but Stewart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that it was a place of great repute, many meetings, became a mob museum now, and it is nationally known.
Yeah.
Well, that was built heavily invested by new market tax credits.
Correct, yeah.
Things like that.
They have similar ones for historic preservation as well, but it's the same concept all the way around. And so, yeah, that concept was huge in letting the museum come to life. So hopefully we'll see people invest in the downtown in a similar way, and we'll see.
Well, sophisticated investors and land developers, they understand what new market tax credits are, but it's Greek to many people. But the idea is, you're going to make a big investment. Instead of paying as much tax on your profits at the end of the year on various kinds of business, we're going to give you a big deduction for what you spent in underserved or perhaps a blighted area.
As a carrot to come and invest in that
area.
Yeah.
So that we could benefit from money invested by somebody in Florida or in Louisiana, but there'll be a huge pool of credits. Yeah. And we've applied and won.
Yeah,
45 million.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's extremely, extremely good. Our city team did wonders.
Yeah, it's good news all the way around. Councilman, we love this too. One of the shining stars out in your ward is the Stupak Community Center. They passed a big milestone out there. 10,000 citizenship students have gone through that facility. That's amazing.
It truly is. It's something that shows a desire for people to participate. First of all, the community there is mixed racial, but it's not one you would say is anything but, ruined. And with the Stupacs and their help and the investments by the city right there have helped bring up the level of standard of living. It's not just the old naked city part of it. That definitely, some of that still needs work. But bringing the kids in and the adults, looking at their possibilities for learning how to become citizens, shows intent. They're already paying taxes. Most people don't know they pay the same taxes everybody else does, even undocumented. They pay the same taxes. They just pay it either in rent or in some other thing that they purchase, because that's how we rely. I often like to tell people that, because some people might say, oh, how many more citizens are we going to have from down there south of the border, or that kind of thing? And well, they won't all become citizens, but they'll be darn good citizens.
Well, and the idea of those classes to help get started on the process to become a citizen.
They have been paying the taxes as it went along. They just had to do it in other ways through their expenditures. But having them on the rolls is very nice. We could use the tax money to help pay for my Social Security.
Well, congratulations to the Stupak Center. That is a lot of students going through that program. That is a ton. So. Very good. And Councilman, nice tradition out in Ward 3. You have your Fiesta pool party every year. This is a tradition because the councilman always treats the kids that are there to a little bit of a surprise if they haven't been to this before. Starts off kind of calm, and he comes fully clothed in his street clothes.
See, only one kid followed me immediately because they thought the old man is crazy. I'm not going to get in a swimming pool near him in the shallow end. No way. But I like doing it. It pleases me. And if it makes them laugh a little bit, then I'm even more pleased.
Yeah, it's a great facility. That pool at Freedom Park is. And then look at this, everybody. Wow, for a guy retiring, that was a nice dive.
I am not only retiring, I'm going on to Medicare in 6 weeks.
Well, that was a pretty nice dive there, old guy.
Oh, it's a deep dive.
So,
yeah. Then I managed to swim to the side, get my breath.
That's good. Yeah, we didn't have to call the lifeguard in to pull you out or anything.
No. But before, I have worn the wrong clothing that was really too heavy.
Yeah, we've talked
when
about
it was
that. Yeah,
wet.
it's like, oh yeah, this is a little heavy now. I got to get out of here.
Hey, it was fun.
You've done that every year, I believe, since you've been in office. That was the 8th time, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we've had that party, but I haven't always dived in. Yeah, I couldn't dive in right after. I remember we had it right about the time the drunk broke my back in a car accident.
Yeah, so I'm not doing a lot of diving that year.
No, and sometimes it was too cold. But they assured me it would be at least 80.
Yeah, right.
They really, really worked on it.
We've not always had the most perfect weather, for your pool party. But
kids could swim in 70s, 65, and and I don't have enough fat on my bones to cover.
I remember one year thunderstorms blew through the area the night before. We ended up postponing the party because it knocked out the pool equipment there at the pumps and everything. We lost power and.
Well, I'll tell you what it did. I went there the next morning, and what it was a microburst, which is, I think, another way for like an instant pop-up tornado, and just a small one, but with very high velocity.
Yeah.
And so it took out a bus stop. It took out the pool equipment. Well, it ruined the electrical feeds. We were closed for quite a while because of that. Something had to do with electricity.
Yeah.
I mean, don't mess with that.
Yeah, microbursts comes down out of a thunderstorm. It's intense winds, generally come straight to the ground, and if you're in the way, like some of our pool
equipment, it comes down and spreads to the
kapow.
Outside like an explosion would. And it also heavily damaged the apartments across the street.
Surely
They're still trying to pick up the pieces over there.
This year, nice weather for your last
I'm so
dive
happy.
into the pool there.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, another tradition would have been to talk about the delivery of school supplies, which was my September joy. Yeah. But I'll talk to the next councilwoman about that and see if she'll like to go on.
That's right. It's going to be a woman one way or the other, that's for sure. And then, Councilman, I want to talk about this is really important. We're getting the public's feedback on what we're calling our 2050 master plan. Mm-hmm. And this is basically, hey, what do you want the city to look like in 30 years? What would you hope to see here? What would you like to provide for your kids and their kids as we move into the future? So we've got some meetings coming up. This one out in your neck of the woods, Councilman, the East Las Vegas Community Center is going to be on Wednesday, June 22nd from 10 in the morning to 11 in the morning. So if you're going to be available at that time, we'd love to have you come out. Give us your vision, your preferences for where you'd like to see the city head in certain areas. And the other aspect of this is that this is certainly not the only meeting that we have coming up. If you check the city's website, lasvegasnevada.gov, you'll see citywide.
Well, I know there will be many, many meetings because it helps validate a plan. And the more people you talk to from different parts of a city over and over, and you get different opinions, you blend it all together.
Right.
With professional assistance to get a feel for how people really want us to go. We've been following the 2040 for a little while.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was time to dust off new numbers, put it up. Yeah. So I can't. People should never complain if they haven't participated.
No, because here's the thing. We're talking about the future of the city, how it's going to evolve, how certain areas of the city are going to evolve, and so it's really important.
Well, David, we hear it all the time, don't we? You watch and watch and watch these meetings, and you see and hear people coming up who are absolutely clueless about what's happened around them, and they don't know why things happen, and it's important for them to be engaged. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's not a cliche.
So June 22nd over in Ward 3 at the East Las Vegas Community Center. Check out the city's website, lasvegasnevada.gov, for future times of the 2050 master plan. And you come out, we'd love to hear from you. So, and Councilman, another tradition coming up. It's a midsummer tradition here at City Hall. We have our classic car show. We tweeted this out. A classic car show is coming to City Hall on July 17th. This is a lot of fun. If you haven't been out there to see this, and it's different cars every year, but you see the video here, some of these cars are just like going to be right out of your childhood, some long before that too, but just wonderful classic cars, all operating. You have a chance to see them in person at City.
Well, and you meet the people behind it. You get to see where they've put their retirement money, and maybe their extra retirement money they thought they're going to take a cruise on. All of a sudden, it goes into a car.
And I want to tell everybody too, if you're interested, if you have a classic car, maybe a vehicle you'd like to show off, well, here's the thing: we want to hear from you. Because on Wednesday, July 17th, starting at 6:30 in the morning, that's a council day. So through the morning of the council meeting, the cars will be out there, and we always get a lot of people swing by and check them out for this car show every year.
That's another grabber of inheritance for the kids.
Right, exactly. Well, Councilman, this is your last show, just a few weeks left in office. Some reflection.
Well, I thank you for asking. I think what has happened is, of course, I've enjoyed the collegiality, particularly of a nonpartisan environment. And everybody pitches together regardless of their true party registration. You really do work together. There are almost no partisan issues. There really are none partisan issues.
It's local issues, yeah.
Right, and so I've enjoyed the collegiality, the friendship. You showed the collector car thing, and I thought, well, that was brought to us by John Bear, who worked for Councilman Beers, who was here 5 years, and he left, and John left shortly thereafter. John Bear. Well, gosh, John would, I would never have known him. He would not have known this would be a good place to have a show. All these kinds of things are parts of the people that you've been involved in, whether folks like you and the rest of the communications empire here now. It's so productive, it's so popular, that it's created a tremendous demand for the services of the city. All the folks in planning and code enforcement and public works, roads, you name it. It's just, everybody's a little different. And then they all come together at the top, and there's an executive team. And the team, kind of, in a sense, they've been blooded all the way up the process. If it wasn't in this city, it was another one. And so they bring a whole mixture of stuff to the city manager's team, which then conveys to the council. And all of that is done with a lot more work behind the scenes, where you'd ever know. So I think the people working with the voters, of course, the people I've always known as constituents and neighbors and childhood friends, I've always felt very much at home in that area. So I'm not really saying goodbye. I'm certainly not saying goodbye from active life.
Yeah. Oh, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
I know that.
I'll have another thing to do.
Well, and Councilman, you got to feel good. Your thumbprint is on so many things in Ward 3, so many positive things. You've left a legacy across your ward, and those things will live on long, long, long after all of us are gone from City Hall. So.
You know, that's a kind thing to say. And what I hope to do is kind of drive by those old places and just check them out as time goes on. and watch the neighborhoods, and of course bother the councilwoman,
Yeah.
whoever that is, and well, obviously we know now.
We'll know soon. We'll know
yeah.
soon. At the taping of the show, we don't, but soon enough we will. June 11th is the council or the election, and of course the show is going to air after.
Yeah,
that,
or you could always just cut this part of the show out
Yeah,
and just
put in the
put
results.
in Bridget Bardot or something like that as a sign of protest.
Well, Councilman, it's been a pleasure working with you on this show, and I want to tell you, as we go to close Councilman Coffin's last show, we'd like to leave you with a special video we produced that looks back on Councilman Coffin's last time here at City Hall, but his time in office here at City Hall, the contributions that he's made. You'll have a kind of in a synopsis of just a few minutes recapping his career. And as always, we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Access City Council. Don't miss our next show beginning on June 20th with Ward 4 City Councilman Stavros Anthony. You can catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire now. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. We'll see you next time right here on KCLV, where we bring city government closer to you. Enjoy this video, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Access City Council. I'm David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. On this show, we're going to introduce you to the newest member of the City Council, Ward 3 City Councilman Bob Coffin is with us. Welcome to your first Access City Council show. Good to have you on.
David, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Allegiance and loyalty to the same. And I, Bob Coffin, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend.
What will I miss? The collegiality of working with like-minded people who agree or disagree. And I get a lot of joy out of disagreeing with people, because it's like those are people who see things different, and I don't see it their way, so I have to figure out why as I'm trying to persuade them to see it my way. So there's a lot of give and take. First of all, I'm here to get a check, which I think is the first important thing. We've got the Grinch who's going to try to steal Christmas. I'm proud to be your councilman, and I know that we can work together to meet any challenges that Ward 3 and the city of Las Vegas face. You see before you a new city. And that's progress and prosperity, and it's all the things that we want. Well, ribbon cutting, of course, is mother's milk of this kind of stuff. That's a sign of growth. It's a good thing, cutting a ribbon. So I don't mind it. I love it. The kids, they like to see adults play with them. I don't care what you're doing, you know. And I was a kid here growing up from the age of 9. Finding land, any kind of land, any shape of land, any size for a park has been a crusade we've been on, which I think we've been pretty successful at. Hello! Hey! You get that?
You know, he and I are sort of like peas in a pod because we came in together. Both of us came in right in the depths of the recession, into things that were so troublesome and so difficult. And fortunately for Bob Coffin, he represents the downtown area, and to go to all these ribbon cuttings and the excitement of what's been going on the Couplet and on Main Street in the Arts District. It's been so exciting, and you just feel the glow he has. He's just done such a wonderful job.
There's some boots that'll last forever in there. Okay. Hello, I'm Bob Coffin. Hello
Nice to meet you.
Bless you. It's not a cat house, no red light. volunteers picked an oak because it's the tree of life. How I know is with Mary being retired, I got to find things to do that are not in the house. I've already irritated her way too much because she's constantly doing something. I'd rather be lazy and relax, maybe stay in bed all day, but I can't, I won't. So I got to find things to do. But we're going to need your help to support these businesses during this long transition. Thank you, an honor. What an honor it's been. Order! I got the thing done here. Cut him open!
I do really believe, because he's done so much service in the state, as you well know, he has so much more to give, and I think he's going to be extremely bored because he's been in the public service area for so many years. But Bob, you know, I have a couple of things I have to share with you. First of all, you know, one of the things that I really look to you for is this wonderful thing you've brought to our community, you and Tick Cigerblow, this pot. I know you enjoy your use of it, and you've been promoting it forever and ever. So, you know, I know what we can do with it, and hopefully the money will go where it's supposed to go, to education, which it's not going to, and so you better renew your friendship with the governor and the legislature to get them to give us the money for our kids. But additionally to that, Bob, you know, you have been the king of pot in my own estimation. There's another thing. Those of us of the distaff side, the women on this floor, or perhaps the women in Southern Nevada, you have lovely Mary at home, the most brilliant, wonderful woman. But what are you doing all the time? I'm going to give you this. Just so you have your own little girl at home that you can look at all the time and think, I'm going to hit on her. I've warned you. I've sent legal after you. Stay out of trouble.